flag is up, and it's good.
You're listening to The Extra Point, hosted by Phil Ruskin. Welcome.
Yo, 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 welcome in. It is another Tuesday night, which means Kendall and I are hanging out. Thanks for joining us on another episode of The Extra Point. I am, as always, your host, Phil Ruskin, hosted by my good buddy, Kendall VanDerBilt of the Fantasy Football Tavern. How's your week been, dude?
Week has been busy. It's been crazy. I got a work trip I'm going on tomorrow. I'm going to be up in Indy for a couple days. So doing the busy bee, get all the stuff going on. Got to pack a suitcase while doing a bunch of waivers tonight, per usual. But yeah, I mean the Bears won, so my weeks are very different when the Bears win versus they lose. Like as a fantasy fan, right? You listen to all the regular ESPN shows. There's the content we watch, specifically the shouty shows on ESPN. My week looks very different if the Bears are on. What topic are they on? Right? Are we? Oh, whoa, is Caleb? Or we're like, oh, is there something there? So overall, pretty good week.
It was a weird, I'll be honest, man. It was one of those games where I'm watching it and I'm like, okay, the Commanders are down 10. How are the Bears going to fuck this up tonight? And then the Commanders were the ones that like, and I'm not trying to, you're on a high. I'm not trying to like beat you when you're up, right? But like, did the Bears win or did the Commanders lose? Like
the Commanders lost. That's my biggest thing. I'm so glad. Okay. We don't have to do a whole show on this, but I needed someone else to tell me that. I was watching that game and I saw I'm not listening. I'm not moving a single Bears player up. If anything, Washington, you should know, our defense shouldn't look that good because we weren't making plays. We were making, if you're going to give me the ball, I guess I'll take it. But that's the most resistance we were putting up. Kind of disappointing. I really thought this was going to be a big Bill game where he was going to tear us up.
I did too. And I started him actually in a league where thankfully I had already won. Like going into Monday night, like it was sort of just like bonus points for me at that point, right? But I just 7.8 points, 17 carries was solid. That's good. But 61 yards, one catch for 7 yards. Like Jaden scrambled and Jaden ran a lot. And that's what you want. But at the end of the day, man, like that first of all, I don't put that fumble on Bill. That's on Jaden. Yeah. Like he doesn't get that ball into his hands. He doesn't secure it. He kind of hot potatoes it into Bill's stomach there. Like, here, you take it, do something with it. And then all of a sudden it's like, are the Bears about to steal this game? Oh, they are. And then I went, hold on. It's Jake Moody. Like anything could happen. And good for the kid, like good for him. Right. Yeah. So weird week. Look, we all know what happened this week. Emeka Egbuka, not Egbigboo, Rob Gronkowski. Let's get that straight for just a second. That was brutal. Emeka Egbigboo. And I was like, oh, Rob, don't they have someone in the background, like in the producer, like talking to him in his ear to tell him like how to pronounce that name? It's not like he's saying John Smith. So Egbuka, hamstring injury. Puka seems like he's going to be okay, but obviously didn't play for the majority of that game. Look, the Niners are once again the 19ers because they don't have a single healthy player. And the old wheelchair logo is currently showing up all over social media again. So there's a lot that in your redraft teams, no Dalton Kincaid, I think that was a bigger deal than maybe I thought it would be. Right? Like Keon Coleman is non-existent right now. Shakir was Shakir, right? I don't know what his stats were, but I'm going to blindly say, Kendall, if you can pull him up real quick, I'm going to guess, having watched that game, Shakir was probably 4 or 5 catches for 54 yards. That's going to be my guess. Because
you're being nice to him.
Was it? How was he?
5 targets.
Okay, so I got that right.
Yeah. 3 catches, 33.
Ouch. So, but that's my point. That's how you think of Shakir. Yeah. That's how you think of him, right? 3 to 33, 5 to 55, right? Like there's nothing magical about it. Keon Coleman's non-existent. James Cook didn't look good. Like the Atlanta Falcons, credit to them. They got out in front. They got their noses out front, and they didn't give it away. They tried to, but they didn't give it away. And I'm surprised Dawson Knox catches that 19-yard touchdown, but like, I don't know. We have to have a conversation about Kincaid because, I've been in his camp for a while, and We'll see what happens when he comes back here. So it is week 7, which is crazy to say that it is already week 7 because it feels like the season just started. But Kendall and I are going to do our best as we are officially now 1/3 of the way through the fantasy season. And we're going to do our best to give you guys a couple of players that we think that you can trade for, potentially trade away. But I think as I look through, the show sheet here, it's mostly trade for guys, mostly buys. But we're going to talk through some players that realistically in your dynasty leagues, we think you can get. We think you can get at a reasonable price, and we think are going to help you. And I just want to say this before we jump in here, Kendall, because you and I were just talking about this backstage. The key to what I just said is we think you can get. Because I listen like you do to all these shows and I read all these articles, right? And we're constantly doing the exact same thing that we're providing folks right now, which is we are taking in information just like the rest of the market is, but we're also trying to provide context and content for the listeners out there. And really, at the end of the day, I'm shocked at how many live, you talked about the screamer shows, but like how many shows I listen to where they're saying, I think you could get this trade done and this is what, but you can't get that trade done. You know what I mean? Like, it's not going to happen. Like, and I'm not saying that there's shows out there saying trade for Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase in Dynasty, because obviously that's not what it is. But it's like it might as well be. Right? Like, oh, go trade for such and such a guy. And it's like no one's giving. Go trade for Emeka Egbuka. No one's giving him up. Go trade for Jackson Smith and Jigba. Good luck. You know what I mean? Like, it's just not going to happen. So I want people tonight, as you're listening to the show, jump in the comments. Give us some trades that are really happening in your leagues that you have on offer or that you are ready to offer out. And Kendall and I will break those down for you. So, Kendall, why don't we start at the top? I like this one. I want to let you go first here because this is a quarterback that I also agree with. He was on my short list of players to trade for this segment. But why don't you kick us off with the quarterback position night of a player that you think is a trade for that could have some value the rest of this way?
Sure. Let's talk about our boy Sam Darnold here for just a minute of the Seattle Seahawks. So my take on Sam Darnold is really that he leveled up. He got good coaching last year. He took to it well, and he's just a better player that is now taking that coaching and is consistently leveling up. When I watched his film from this year, just looking back and seeing he had some pretty big box scores, and I'm trying to make sense of it and saying, hey, is this the player making this happen, or is it let's not chase box scores? And what I saw was someone who was really reading and making really high level plays, right? I actually watched some high level NFL, deep analysis breakdown. Kurt Benkert, I think I'm probably pronouncing that right, but he's the former NFL quarterback. He's on shorts and whatnot, but I like his former quarterback analysis, and he broke down Sam Darnold. It looks fantastic. He's also doing it while throwing to one guy, right? So it should be easy to stop that. Aaron Rodgers and DK Metcalf, they can't seem to get the deep ball going, right? There's a bunch of guys that should, right? Xavier Worthy hasn't really caught a deep ball yet, right? Those two guys can't not make a deep ball work. And it just, everything seems like it's pretty good. So here's the long-term. Why is he a buy? He's risky because we thought he's just not a good quarterback. I think we're past that. I think he's good. He's in a situation where he's in a talented team, good defense, but he's only really got one offensive weapon with a nice help from his running back room, right? So how does his situation get much worse? I don't think it does from a quarterback perspective. I think he's going to have enough talent to be competent. They're going to be in every game. They're still going to need to pass a little bit. They're not killing anybody on the side of the ball. And the pass catchers should only get, they got two young tight ends that should keep getting better. They could potentially, because the defense is already good, they're set everywhere. They could take a luxury, they could take the Tet McMillan pick at some point if they want to, like the Panthers did. They could just take a luxury early wide receiver pick if they want to. And while that's not great for JSN, it's probably not terrible for him. It's more like a Devontae Adams to Puka. I think that gives Darnold like a long-term 2-3 year plus. He's good in a good situation. I think there's a really safe floor for a player that's not really old. And he's at a place where I don't think he's not being talked about. He's not a sexy name yet. I mean, he's almost there, but I think he's still at a place where you can not overpay for him. You can get a trade done. The thing I was thinking about with him in actual leagues is you don't need 2 firsts. The quarterback market, even a bad one, sometimes costs a first because just it's needed on so many rosters. If you look at so many quarterbacks and you say, what would they cost? And you don't even have to love the quarterback. You'd be like, yeah, there's just no way I can buy him. I need too much to give up. Darnold is a one good productive player, just one. We don't even need to adjust it with multiple pieces. So he's doable. You can go get him in a lot of situations. So
let me ask you this, because I said at the top of the show, right, we wanted to give you real world scenarios, and I see already Jacob Osborne in the chat. Appreciate you being here. But I see a question that he's already asked us, and we will get to that. I'm pulled one of my leagues because I've been on the do I trade for Sam Darnold train for about 2 weeks now. This is a super flex. Excuse me. This is a start 2 quarterback league. So it's not even super flex. You have to start 2. You can only have 4 quarterbacks because when I started this league 5 years ago, I was concerned that people would just hoard and then you'd be like, well, the integrity of the league is at question. So you can only have 4 quarterbacks on your roster unless you got some guys on the taxi. So here's my quarterback room: Josh Allen, Jared Goff, Geno Smith, Anthony Richardson. So in my mind, I have 2 quarterbacks. I've won this league 2 years in a row. I am mostly guaranteed to be a playoff team again this season. And the reason I say that is not to toot my horn. The reason I say that is to set the stage of I am not going to be able to get a quarterback early in the draft because I'm probably most likely going to make the playoffs, which means I'm drafting at the back end and the quarterbacks will be gone. So my question is this: do you think, Kendall, because I've struggled with this a lot, do you think I could put together a trade package for Sam Darnold with Geno Smith and what does that and in your mind need to be? Does it need to be a pick? Does it need to be another veteran? Is it a multiple pick? Because Geno, it ain't good. And I say that, I'm asking you that because if the trade was offered my way and I had Darnold, I wouldn't take Geno plus unless it was something sexy.
That's think, it's a tough one. Where my head goes initially is I probably don't want to tier up from Geno only because I think it highlights the discrepancy between the quarterbacks, which means it makes Darnold look better and it makes Geno look worse, which means you're going to have to overpay whenever you do that. I would rather do that sort of tier up play if the guy I'm trading for is in that 2+ first round, like hyper value. So I think stylistically you could do that, but I think you would be getting a low amount for Geno. Yeah. I think the better way to go about it is either pure to the team that needs the picks because they're not doing anything with Darnold, so his production doesn't even matter anyways. That team needs the first plus something interesting, like first plus Tesla, first plus Brashard Smith, and then massage the value in. I think objectively it's that it depends on the value of the first, right? If it's just an average first, you probably need a third. I need a first, a third, and that interesting piece because the rebuilding team can make a lot of sense of Brashard Smith or a Tesla or just something to get behind, right? And the first. That's the base, and then massage if you're super in, do you do with a late second? I don't know. I'm more at a third value right now. First, a second plus an interesting piece feels like we're getting into. I just want to go buy Baker Mayfield at that point for that price. Right. But if you can keep it cheap enough, I don't know. That's where I'm thinking. Either that or your singular productive piece, whatever that ends up being for your team. And either way, we could go into that. But
yeah, I mean, look, it's hard, right? Because there's players like I look around this league, right? Patrick Mahomes, Justin Herbert, Tua Tagovailoa, Bryce Young. That's one of the quarterback rooms. That's a good quarterback room. I want nothing to do with Tua. Nothing. And I just, you know me, I've never been on the Bryce Young train. I respect the fact that he's getting better. I know he's had some usable weeks. I like all players in the NFL. I want them all to succeed. We know that they won't. But there's nothing in that guy's room that excites me. You know what I mean? Like you're not trading Mahomes, you're not trading Herbert. So it's like, do I really like? So that's where I look around this, and we're going to talk about my guy here in just a second. But you know, there's just players that the ceiling is so low that it's like, you're right. Should I just pay up and go buy Baker? Right. And so I want to talk about my quarterback here because Kendall, you'll probably ask me, well, why don't you just trade for this guy? I can't trade for this guy because the guy's a Lions fan. So he has the world's greatest soft spot for Matthew Stafford, right? And please hear what I'm about to say. This is really important. I would only recommend trading for Matt Stafford in a super flex or start 2 league. I would not trade for him in a single quarterback league. So make sure that you understand that. We know everyone loves super flex. We know that's the big sexy style of league now. But here's why I would trade for Stafford, especially if you are a contender in a super flex or start 2. We talked about this ad nauseum, me and you, the correlation with the wide receivers. And there is an inverse correlation with Matt Stafford for where he gets drafted in dynasty startups and in redraft relative to where Puka and relative to where Devontae Adams both get drafted. And on the season right now, Kendall, who is the wide receiver 1?
It's still Puka? It's got to be Puka, right?
It is still Puka Nacua. So you're telling me right now, and I wanted to pull this because I believe he is the wide receiver 13. He is. Devontae Adams is the wide receiver 13. So you are seeing right now with a player.
Quietly 2 wide receiver 1s. I'll give him the Baker's dozen. Right?
I'll give him the Baker's dozen there as well. But we've seen it. But we've seen it from sexy names. Waddle and Tyreek Hill. Devonta Smith and A.J. Brown, right? T. Higgins and Joe Burrow. and Jamar Chase when Joe Burrow's actually there, right? Come on, Joe. We need you. Hurry this toe thing up, buddy. But look, at the end of the day, Stafford right now, this is it. This is the final window. It's either this year or next year, and this is the last you will see of Matt Stafford. But he is right now, and I'll ask you this without looking. Do you know where he is right now? QB what?
Ooh. I mean, I would guess back end QB1, but still definitely inside the top 12. I'm thinking it's got to be like 9 or 10.
10. Yeah, QB 10. He's only had 2 games under 245 passing yards. And in those 2 games, he was under 30 passing attempts. He is the QB 5 in overall passing attempts on the season right now at 300 years old. And here's his schedule. He's got the week 8 bye. Then they play the Saints, the Niners. We're missing everybody. The Seahawks, the Bucks. Okay, scary. But then the playoff push comes with Carolina, Arizona, Detroit, hopefully a shootout, Seattle, and Atlanta. If you can go and find somebody who has Matt Stafford on their roster who is out of it or is a week or 2 away from being eliminated with a loss or 2 losses, I would go pay a second-round pick based off the age. I wouldn't pay a first. That to me is too rich. I get it. You're trying to win a championship. But at the end of the day, Kendall, I don't love older players because they have no resale value. That's where I struggle with giving a first. Unless you are getting, it's hard for me because Derrick Henry's having such a bad season. But if you were getting somebody like that who has upside, I know he's running back 17. But if you could get someone that was guaranteed production, then I would pay that first. But Stafford's 1 hit away from his season being over. And that's still the risk that is built into his purchase price. But I don't think you're going to find a better upside, cheaper quarterback that can win you a championship in a super flex league than Matt Stafford. I just don't. And if I'm wrong, I'm happy to be wrong. But tell me that there's another guy at that price point that's going to finish inside the top 10 that's not under 30 years old.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's some builds where this makes a lot of sense, right? In the, I have a 3 quarterback room, right? And 2 of them are, it's like my main guy. I've got Jalen Hurts and 2 rotational pieces. The dread happens when you feel good about your rotational pieces and they become somebody in Geno, Geno and Bryce, right? That's an example of dude, how do I thinking about flexing Quinshon Judkins over both of them type of situation, right? So in that particular case, I do think you're competing. So your second rounder is going to be late. You are burning it. But at quarterback, when you're tearing up for production, you actually get a pretty hefty PPG bump when it's mid-season. You kind of know how they're playing versus when you're drafting and the overall range of QB1s is close, right? I think you could go 5 PPG. You can go maybe for 3-4 minimum if you're going from what Geno's producing right now to where Stafford's producing. I mean, you're adding real wins to the roster for kind of cheap
potentially.
Good timing with Puka injured and coming off a bad game. If someone's not competing, they're just looking for a change. It's no, I think that makes a lot of sense. Plus, you're doing this trade because you want to compete and you want to win, which means you also only care about the playoffs, meaning the next 2 games don't matter as much when Puka might be out. or at least limited to some extent. So I think it's a great buy. And like you said, good players play better when it's the year, and this is the year. The defense is there. They drafted. Yeah, I think Stafford's going to play. I almost want him to lose a game because I want their record to be like, they need to ball out every game. I don't want them to get too soft at some point in time. But yeah, I think we've said this before in redraft. We're in on Stafford. We're in on a midseason, I think, because other players in the NFL talk about Stafford better than they do Rodgers. I think in terms of overall who's been better. Like they can specifically name plays that they seem like, I think he's that good.
If you went back and you listened to our Do Not Draft show, right? I said this at the top of the Do Not Draft show. I said, if you draft Puka Nacua, he was a do not draft for me. And I said, everyone's going to hear this and they're going to go, oh my God, how could you not draft Puka Nacua? And I said exactly this. Go back and check the tape. I said, if Stafford plays all 17, Puka Nacua is the wide receiver 1. If Stafford takes a bad hit, that is the end. That's it. And right now, Stafford has played all the games, and Puka Nacua is the wide receiver 1. And so that's my continuous comment, right? It's like we talk about these guys. Last year we said, can Sam Darnold is Justin Jefferson good enough to bring Sam Darnold along? And the answer was yes. Now, I think Sam Darnold played pretty good football last year, to be fair. They're 14-2. He to be fair, he shit the bed in the playoffs, and that's what cost him his contract in Minnesota. I think if he gets a playoff win or they make a run to the NFC Championship game, he's probably still a quarterback in Minnesota, I would think, even with J.J. McCarthy there. Maybe they still trade him for value because they've got McCarthy they drafted and they get like really – but my point is like you have a serious question as who your quarterback is in Minnesota, right?
Oh, JJ might have dodged a bullet on that one.
Boy, did he. So
I didn't think about that till just now. Wow.
Might have caught himself a job because of it. So, but that's my thing, right? Like you can't tell me right now that there is a quarterback in Los Angeles, not named Stafford, that is good enough to support Puka and Adams being top 12 wide receivers. It's not going to, I don't give a fuck about Stetson Bennett, and Jimmy G needs to go do a modeling career or something else, Geico commercials, because he ain't the guy. So it's Stafford. And I'm telling you right now, if he continues to play at this level, you need a Kyren Williams week, and that's when you go trade for him. You're right. You said a down week would be a good time to get him. I think you go try and snag him after Kyren has, 2 touchdowns, and then they've, got a defensive touchdown that week, and Stafford throws for, 212 and a pick. That's when you go get him. So,
yeah.
Let's shift gears. Let's hit the old running back position. And I'm going to I want to hear your take on this, but I want to talk this one out because you and I were talking backstage about this guy, and I think the conversation might evolve after your take on this. So here we go. Running back.
I like this. I like this one.
Give us a running back.
Oh, I thought we were going on yours. Okay. Actually, all right. This makes us even spicier. Let's talk about some Javonte Williams. I have always been a Javonte fan. During the injury plagued, I still watched a lot of them, and here's why I'm comfortable saying it's not a soft buy. It's a hard I'm in on Javonte. He looks better than he did last year. When I actually watch him play, it's tough when you're watching. I'm not the biggest NFL analyst of all time, so when I watch a player in one uniform versus another, it makes it just a little bit more difficult. I'm just being honest, but I think he looks better. And the stats back it up. I mean, just last week, he was literally had the highest EPA in the entire NFL amongst running backs, the most expected points above average, right? So he created more fantasy points per touch than any other running back. And that's really difficult to do. So he's playing lights out, which is fantastic. He's 25 years old, Phil. He's only 25.
I know.
He got injured so early, and now he's kind of doing it. So here's why I'm kind of in on Javonte. 25 years old, having production that you just can't fake, at efficiency you just can't fake. We'll probably get into that with your guy as well here, where sometimes there's just thresholds that are... There's a reason Hassan Haskins can get 30 carries and still not get 100 yards, maybe 40. There's a reason for it, right? Yeah. Javonte's hitting stuff where he just shouldn't. So here's the long-term play, because we're buying in Dynasty. This is a popular redraft buy. What makes him a Dynasty buy? Shouldn't this be a run far away? Isn't this a trap, right? Because normally it is. I'm going to say normally it is. It's not a trap here because you look long term. The team has 2 billion holes. They like to take big swings. Okay. Jaden Blue, I drafted him a lot in Dynasty because I wanted running backs with interesting or muddy backfields I want to check as many of those boxes as I can because the math says enough will hit that I'm going to profit, right? I'll be honest, I wasn't a crazy Scattaboo guy. I figured either it's going to be awesome or he's going to be dust, but I'm going to take enough of him that something will happen, right? And knowing full well that it might not. I took Jaden Blue the same way. I don't think it's going to happen. Now that Sanders is completely out of the picture, I think it's more than likely that Jaden Blue is just not good. He's more hype in situation than he is an NFL player. He could be awesome. We'll see. If he's not, I don't see a world in which Javonte doesn't get the immediate extension, becomes the solution. I think this is a team that has difficulty. I mean, they make negotiation look hard. They make me and you look like we could be an NFL negotiator tomorrow. Because my goodness, Dallas, it's not that hard, right? Jerry gets a player that you get to tell Jerry as a lawyer, right? Jerry, you could extend him and you won't even notice the cap hit and he'll be happy with it, right? From where his situation was to an extension, right? This is like the version of the Kyron deal, except way cheaper, right? This is the Chuba deal, but cheaper, right? I think that just solidifies them for a long time. I could see a 3-year extension easy with avoidable year. He's there for 2 for sure. And we see what the team looks like in 2. If that's the case, he's a better version of Chase Brown because he has all the touches, but he's got the efficiency to go with it. Right.
Interesting. Yeah.
Why do we like Chase Brown? No defense, great offense. We knew he was inefficient, but he'll still get all the work. We have all the work, no defense.
Yeah, that inefficiency is showing up in a big way
right now.
He's
better Chase Brown, and he's a year and 2 months older than him. That's it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. It's interesting because I'm in a league.
I guess. But.
I am in a league right now where I inherited an orphan team, and it's a decent rebuild, right? I sold Puka for 3 firsts. I sold Nico Collins for 2 firsts, and I have Javonte, and that's kind of what this team is. And I can't get anyone to buy him. Right. And to your point, it's like, it's Admiral Akbar in my head, right? I'm obviously a big student. Well, I have my fake background up, but like in my real office, I've got a bunch of Star Wars stuff on the wall here. It's like, it's a trap. It is. Or is it? And that's what we're talking about, right? Like at the end of the day, I'm the opposite of you. I didn't think Jaden Blue was going to be a thing. I'm happy to be wrong, but as of right now, we don't know what he is. Phil Maffa's on IR. I'm not sure if he's going to come back. And does he muddy that backfield? Is Miles Sanders going to eventually? I just don't know what that's going to be. But I think Javonte is going to be on the Cowboys for the next 2 to 3 years in some capacity. And I think that's the piece for me that gives me some value of if this is a player who is going to be an important piece of an offense where he's not asked to be the guy. And I think that's the key. I think that's what you're buying.
The expectation level makes this palatable for all involved.
Exactly. It's I'm okay selling him because I could be cashing out close to his peak value. I'm okay buying him because I think that he could be a valuable. I think there's both. I think you could make easy arguments for why you should buy him and why you should sell him. But it's CeeDee Lamb's team. It is always going to be CeeDee Lamb's team unless they trade for Bijan. Or get, you know what I mean? Like, or draft that caliber of a player. And even then, it's probably still CeeDee Lamb's team. So I like this player as a buy. I think you can get a deal done here. You and I were talking backstage. And we're saying, well, let's see if we can get something done on the air. You're not in this league. Otherwise, I would happily try to work something with you here on this.
I theory crafted from that owner's perspective. I mean, I think I know the range that I would pay for Javonte. I mean, I think it's 2 clear-cut positions. It's I own Javonte. Am I selling? I would never sell as a contender, right? So you're only selling as I'm kind of contending, but I should quit while I should turn this into something more creative, right? Play for the long term, or I'm just not competing at all, right? I think the difficulty is when you are in the middle of things, it's still like, if you're 2-4, you're still kind of like, I need to wait a week. I need to be 2-5 beforehand, right? It's just a weird time where give it 2 weeks and
2
the
weeks.
owner could be very motivated pretty quick. So I think that's the challenge. The owner doesn't know what to do. They have all this production and they just don't know what to do with it, because they're also thinking maybe I kick it down the can, for a year, right? So know your owner when you approach him. And I think this is a dialogue first before it's an offer, because you can't lead with player or pick unless you know. You have to know what they're looking for. Otherwise, you're just throwing a flag that says, I'm pretty much willing to pay 25% above sticker because I have a strong take on him. So find a way for it to win for the owner, however that is. And I think that's the way to get it done.
Well, let's talk about a running back that no one knows what to do with right now, which is exactly why I've picked him. And it is none other than Rico Dowdle.
I love this pick. Everyone's talking about him in redraft. I haven't heard a Dynasty take on him yet. I'm curious.
So here's the Dynasty take. I wrote, and you can see the show sheet. I know you can, but everyone else can't. And the number one point that I wrote says, is it real? Is it real? And I think that's the question you need to answer before you decide whether you want to buy or if you want to sell. Because if you don't believe strongly that it is real, you're not buying. And if you believe strongly that it is real, I would sell and cash out because you believe you can get some value back into your team. So look, we know what he's done in the last 2 weeks. He was the overall RB1 2 weeks ago, and he was the RB2 because Bijan is an animal and ripped off one of the best runs that I have seen.
Oh, buddy,
I literally said to myself, and Kendall, you probably did too, I'm going, please break this tackle. Oh, he's not going to break the tackle. Oh, he broke the tackle. And then you're like, oh, that's it. He's in. He can walk backwards on his hands.
And I didn't care, man. Like, just give it to me, dude.
It was awesome. It was such a great 81 yards. He just rips the thing off. Look, Chuba Hubbard is working on a side field still. So the Panthers have won 2 games in a row. And so I want to theory craft this. The coach in me is going to go, how do I bench the player that is winning me games? Because at the end of the day, Dave Canales has two things that he needs to do with this team. Number 1, win games. Number 2, get to the playoffs. If he does those 2 things, he keeps his job. If he doesn't do those things, he goes back to somewhere in the NFL as a coordinator. That is a cold, hard fact. So how do you, in a division you're not going to win because you cannot beat the Buccaneers, and Atlanta is funky, man. Like, I don't understand what Atlanta's like.
There's no way the smartest person in the NFL knows what to make of Atlanta.
Atlanta is a complete anomaly right now. Like, they beat Buffalo at home. They beat the Commanders with the Dan Quinn revenge game. And I think they lost to the Panthers 30-0, if my memory's right. Right? I'm pretty sure they lost the Panthers 30-0.
Was that?
Like,
oh my God,
what is going on? So my point isn't about Atlanta. My point is about Carolina. Right?
It's so Atlanta.
But Atlanta, my point in bringing Atlanta up is just this. They could easily jump ahead of the Panthers with one more head-to-head game plus the other seasonal games. They could easily, if 2 teams were to come out of this division, they could easily jump the Panthers to get the wild card spot because Bucks are going to win the division. So I think right now, 60 total touches, 389 rushing yards, 80. I made a mistake. I was like, 8 receiving yards. That doesn't make sense. 80 receiving yards and 2 touchdowns. I think it's real. I think the worst case scenario for Rico is this. Chuba comes back and he plays because he has the contract. And that is the only reason why I think Chuba comes back and plays over Rico right now, because Rico Dowdle has looked better in 2 games than Chuba Hubbard looked all of this season and part of last. And he was awesome
last year.
He was a league winner last year. And Rico looks, I'm not talking about box score hunting and numbers. I'm talking about watch football.
Dude, now it looks like better. The O-line was, you know what I mean? Like you're looking back at Chuba and you're like, was it with the O-lines making everyone good? He's just bad. Yeah, there's a real question there.
So here's my question to you, because what I said at the top of the show, we want to give you real world scenarios. I sold Rico Dowdle and a third in a league that I am rebuilding, and I have zero wide receivers. I sold Rico and a third for Ricky Pearsall. My question to you is, did I sell too low? Oh, sorry. I made that trade after 2 weeks ago. So after the big boom game not after this week. So
Yeah,
it was after the one game,
one big
and I went, okay, this ain't, because I said to myself, like, this ain't it. You know, this ain't it. Chuba's got the contract. He's coming back. Cash. And I did. I'm not sad about it. I love Ricky. I think Ricky's got upside, but could I have had more than Ricky Pearsall for Dowdle and a third, or Dowdle plus?
No, you didn't. No, you're still good. It's still a fine buy. But I think this is where I think a lot of people in chat would be like, no, it's definitely Ricky Pearsall. It's just like a random fluke running back. It's like, one, we gotta calm down. Ricky Pearsall doesn't have to be the guy. And two, I think we got to slow down on like Rico's. There's a lot of options here. There's also, he's on the 1-year deal. Rico could also end up on someone else's team in the
100%.
trade market too, right?
And the
team goes sideways.
The Chuba contract might say that he has to go somewhere else.
Right. This could be we picked up Dowdle for nothing, and now we get to sell him for a profit. Like, that could be a real thing, because I mean they've got a lot of running backs in the roster they need to use somehow. So like, there's crazy outcomes for this. The point is, Dowdle is good, and I think we know that now. So what does the NFL do with Dowdle long term? That's the interesting question. From a dynasty perspective, I think Ricky Pearsall is just, he's too good in a situation where it's more a pro Pearsall take. Where it's a pro Dowdle take there is that it's closer than you think, especially if you're a competing team. That's where this is an interesting question, right? If you're competing, what the hell is Ricky Pearsall doing for you? He's literally an asset that's there to be flipped for other assets, because he's not doing shit for you, right?
Yeah.
Where Rico Dowdle is winning you your league, which is winning you 5+ years of buy-ins, right? Let's be real about the money involved here, right? You want to win your league and be cake so you can do whatever the hell you want to. And Dowdle's putting up insane fantasy points. So even though he's not maybe worth it for 5 years, there is something real to be said about where he ends up for the next 2.
So before we move to the wide receivers, I want to say this, because we talked about this a lot last year. You'll remember this conversation. We said last year many, many times, Jordan Mason was the most likely player to get traded from the Niners because he represented the greatest return in value that the Niners could get back, because they had a young, I almost said freshman, rookie in Isaac Guerendo, right? And we didn't believe that Guerendo, sure, he had 2 games, I think the Seattle game and then another game I can't remember off the top of my head, but he had
you're right.
pretty good numbers last season, right? And he had some flashes. And here's why I bring that up. Rico Dowdle is on a 1-year, $2.75 million contract. That is peanuts. It could increase to 6.25 with bonus incentives, and that's all great. But here's the thing that no one has talked about in 2 years that people need to remember. Jonathan Brooks is on this roster and has not played in 2 years, and he is still on a rookie. He's on a rookie deal. And if you could trade Rico Dowdle away and get something back in because you've paid Chuba and you have Brooks, that is a real concern. And if Rico Dowdle winds up in Green Bay, that is atrocious for Rico Dowdle's dynasty fantasy value. I was going to say Atlanta, but he can't go there because I think Algiers fine. He's obviously not going to go to Detroit.
I was going to stay in the NFC North with someone they've recently traded with.
What?
But I don't think they'll do it because they got boned so hard in the DJ Moore deal. But the Bears need a running back, and they need one that's affordable. I think Dowdle would be a great addition because, I mean, I just don't think Monogonai can stay healthy. But I think the team's not going to want to trade for running back. The fans want a running back in Chicago more than
DeAndre Swift looks. I mean, I'm not. But I know if we got a
I don't think he looked good. That's a full Bears show for another day, but I don't think he looked good, man. In the same way we started the show, which is the Bears didn't even look that good, man. Like, Washington looked awful.
No, Washington lost.
Washington's defense just looks pathetic.
Washington lost the game.
Yeah. Well, watch. I'll send you. I'm going to send you some highlights of Swift being tackled because he chose to get tackled, not because he was trying to be elusive. He wasn't good that game, and he still performed.
No, I watched it. I mean, I saw it. I mean, I've never been a big DeAndre Swift guy. I just haven't. And it's, I'm sorry, but like, the proof's kind of in the pudding. It's his 3rd team now in 3 years between the Eagles and the Bears and the Lions. And it's like, I'd have to pull it. But I mean, I don't remember a season off the top of my head where DeAndre Swift has been in the top 12. I'm sure he has been, but He has not. That's
No,
why I don't remember it.
yeah.
18, 19, 22, 23, 19, 18. He is a perennial low-end RB2.
Hey, man.
Let's talk about some wide
Yeah.
receivers.
Not going to let
Let's
us
do
get too down. The fun part of the show, the wide receiver part of a Dynasty show has to be like the rip a shot. Like, let's have some fun, right? Like, wide receivers in Dynasty, baby.
Well, one of these would be considered cheap tequila, and the other would be like, Wells tequila. So why don't you kick us off with your Wells tequila buy of a player here before I give the old man cheap tequila later.
All right.
So.
Cool. Okay. Zay Flowers for me, soft buy, not a hard buy. Just for me, the delineation in my terminology. This is me. Maybe Phil has his own kind of monikers for this, but for me, a hard buy is a player that you are actively willing to overpay on, and your take is strong enough that the range of reasonable overpays is still all gravy. You're in, right? A soft buy is situational, right? Market price, this makes sense, but let's not get carried away, right? It's find an opportunity. And I'm there. And I'm there on Zay because it's not sexy and it's doable. I just overpaid for Zay Flowers. My opinion, right? I'm not checking, KTC or anything like that. Just my own personal opinion. But it was a situation that made sense, and I think it was a good mutual deal between the teams, right? So here's the take. Here's the fundamentals. We have a team. We have a wide receiver one, on a team with a prolific quarterback, will be there forever, that likes to score a lot of points. Okay, we have the wide receiver one sustainably for a decent amount of time, with a prolific quarterback and a team that scores a lot of points. Right, that's a good situation. We get to pair that with this team, while he's been on it and been kind of mid, has been a insanely run-focused team where the touchdowns have been insanely run-focused. We are now at a point where that running back on that team is on his swan song. We're kind of seeing it and feeling it. The defense taking a step back decimates the value of the running back room. We see this all the time. Quinshawn has more utility than Derrick Henry with the way the offense-defensive combination kind of works, right? So, again, wide receiver one with a prolific, offensive-minded, going to put up points quarterback. They were run-heavy. The running backs are kind of dying off, right? And we're also going to shed an elite red zone weapon, probably in Mark Andrews, that's going to be going away at some point here. And while he's not what he used to be, he still caught like 10 touchdowns last year. He's still a red zone threat. So we're getting 2 billion touchdowns back into the pool. We're getting a team that's too good to have a high draft pick to really draft anyone lethal kind of ever, if I'm being real, right? They have to trade for it, right?
Not this year.
Well, not this year, but
not this year.
And I'll even take away the defensive take, right? I'll say, like, who doesn't love a Jamar Chase when they have no defense, right? Let's just say year to year, on average, their defense is above average. And I'm not even going to say their defense will stay terrible. I'm just going to say we have a situation where we have a player who's in an ugly situation and is unsexy and isn't even looked at as a wide receiver one, but he's on a high-scoring offense with a great, stable head coach quarterback situation, which is very important for wide receiver volatility, right? Look at what BTJ was a couple weeks ago, right? Like, you get that wrong, it gets swingy quick. And that should be losing touchdowns and targets that you cannot even pencil in. This is full on stamp it on there. And he's been okay. He's been underperforming a little bit, but he's been okay. And everything should go in his favor in a stabilizing fashion. That makes a good buy for me, specifically because I think he's valued somewhere just over a first, and some people don't even think he's worth that. I checked on KTC earlier just to be where the market was at. It had a 2026 mid first is higher than Zay Flowers. And for me, I don't think I can offer that and get a deal done almost any day, anywhere. But that was telling. That was interesting. Maybe I'm not in. I thought I was in enough leagues, but maybe Chat can help me out. I thought for sure if you're offered just a single first for Flowers, you hold. I thought you had to pay a little bit more, but I'm curious. Maybe there's some more down takes there. But I see everything that makes a lot of players just pop on their offense. The boxes you need to check. I see it's there with him. It's just the stars aren't aligning this year. And you've got a pocket of time where I think you can make an affordable buy. If you're a competing team, not necessarily win now, but you're in a competing window and you want to push it. I just bought him recently. I told you I overpaid for him. I paid about, I'm not going to get into like this for that, but about a first and a second. I think that's fair if I show all the stuff on screen. And I think that was an overpay. But for me, it was, I'm okay overpaying if I think the floor is pretty stable for a long time. And I think it's there. I may never hit the ceiling with him. It's there though. I'm arguing there is a ceiling that is there, but he's not quite hitting it enough. And all the stars should align starting next year to really unlock that in a way. And in a 3-year dynasty window, I think if I unlock that next year and maybe just even possess it for 2 full seasons, I'm going to feel really good about using that first. And I'm not really loving the 2026 class, particularly because the quarterbacks seem a little iffier than maybe we would have projected. And it's very wide receiver heavy. There is one running back I can project in the first round of rookie drafts next year, and that's a maybe. It's the Notre Dame running back.
Jeremiah Love.
Yeah. But without that, it's going to be so top heavy and so a weird of a rookie draft where it's going to be, you're going to have to draft the best player available, but your team doesn't need him. The best player available is a quarterback, and I already have 3 good ones. Yeah. You're not going to reach in that situation. So it makes the 2026 draft tricky from a value perspective. So that's why I like Flowers. It's doable. You can go buy him if you want to right now, if you're like me and have a somewhat positive take on him. And the arrow's up for me in a 3-year window because it's down now, but up next year and continuing to be up for 2-3 years.
Yeah, I think there was something that you said that I really liked, and it was about the floor. Right. And I think that's why I'm not a big KTC guy. We've had ad nauseum conversations about why we're not, because it's just like any other trade calculator, just wants you to quote unquote win the trade. But I think at the end of the day, I do check it just to make sure I'm not completely off in my own trades. It's just like a barometer, but I'm not living by it. You said the 2026 mid first was more valuable on that site than Zay.
$5K to $4,700.
And here's why. Because of the ceiling outcomes. Because you are hoping that you are drafting a player whose ceiling is higher. Even though their floor could be in the same range, Zay may never hit that ceiling. Like, I don't know, given their passing volume, if he's going to finish as a wide receiver 1.
He never has. He's not actually come particularly close.
And he might not, right? And that's okay. But at the end of the day, like, I can't believe I'm about to give him his due on this, but like Rasta, you got to have guys like that on your team. Zay Flowers is a guy that I'm okay having as a high-end wide receiver 2, right? At the end of the day, I want to see players in my team that can get me 5 to 6 touchdowns and 800 yards. It's not sexy. You said it. It's not sexy. But yeah, I need that because I know 2 things are going to be true. Number 1, at the wide receiver position, there's going to be volatility. It's just it's the most inconsistent scoring position in all of fantasy. Number 1. Number 2, injuries. If I could plug, let's say it's a 2 wide receiver start, because that's an easier than a 3. And I've got one of the big boys. I've got Jamar Chase and I've got Jalen Waddle.
Okay.
Who's pretty close in a comp to Flowers, right? And that's why I picked that name. It's kind of that flat tier.
Mm-hmm.
I feel okay if I have Waddle go down, which is a very real possibility, that I just plug Zay Flowers in there. Jordan Addison, Zay Flowers. Like those are the kinds of names. I'm not going to sit here and be like, if I have Jamar Chase and I have Drake London as my 2 starting receiver, you're not getting Zay Flowers to replace Drake London or Jamar Chase.
Hey, look, real quick, I went over the line on this because I have Xavier Worthy, and his volatility and injury history made this an easy buy for me because exactly what you said. I have Xavier Worthy. His shoulder goes out every other game. It makes so much more. It's such an easier buy on Zay Flowers to appreciate the floor, as you mentioned. So it's funny you were mentioning all that take, and I'm like, I bought him because I have Xavier Worthy. He's like, you're telling. If I didn't have this take, I would believe in it because you would have just told me this makes sense for my team.
I bought Zay Flowers. No, I did not buy him from you. I had Zay Flowers. I bought Lamar Jackson. Sorry, we're not going to revisit that trade because I know it's going to make you sad.
Phil,
it's just going to make you cry.
By the way, I revisited a lot of our trades. You absolutely destroy me in trades historically, man.
Well, let's keep that going. I like
Go
that
back and look at our RJ Harvey trade, and basically 2 weeks before, I traded you a bunch of picks for a bunch of picks, and then I traded any amount of value I accrued plus more to buy RJ Harvey back. I basically loaned you like a first round pick so I could have the privilege of buying RJ Harvey. Yeah, you should listen to Phil because I'm a pretty savvy guy and Phil still owns my ass in trades.
It is it is a nice compliment. I appreciate that. I've made some great ones, and like everyone else, I've made some stinkers.
CNC feels better for you now, so I feel
now it feels a lot better.
I'm now back to bitter. We were even on the Lamar trade. Now that CMC's killing it, now I'm back to upset about it.
We were not even on the Lamar trade. For those that don't know, Kendall traded me Lamar Jackson.
Too, by the way, remember you were going to say no.
I wanted the rushing upside. I told you that. Kendall traded me Lamar Jackson in exchange for, drum roll please, C.J. Stroud, and I am so grateful that he offered that because might be one of the greatest trades I've ever pulled.
Support your local I can't say no to a fun deal
seriously
player in a league near you.
We need to talk about another receiver here. I'll make this one quick because it is look, it's the opposite. It's the poor man's tequila, right? It's the plastic bottle tequila.
Yeah.
And I made this trade. So that's why I pulled this player. Because again, I said at the top of the show, I wanted to give you guys real life scenarios because these talk shows are like, oh, go trade for this guy. Good luck getting that fucking trade done. Get a real trade done in real leagues with real people. Stephon Diggs, back-to-back 100-plus yard weeks. He had a shit week last week against the Saints. But look, he had a 52-yard bomb that was called back. So if that counts, he's at 80 yards. He doesn't score a touchdown, but still 8 points instead of 4. Okay, so you're not happy, but you're not devastated because you were devastated this last week. And I traded for him this last week, and I had Kendrick Bourne in my wide receiver 3 spot. And I was like, oh, is Kendrick Bourne really going to be the guy? You know, George will come back. CMC gets 1.5 million targets. And
Jennings was back healthy. Yeah.
Jennings was sort of running around a little bit here and there, right?
His best Keenan Allen impression. Yeah.
Something. I don't know what he was impersonating, but it wasn't a football player. But look, Diggs had a bad week. Okay. And of course, Bourne killed it. Now, I still won in that league. Thankfully, I was, it didn't really end up hurting me, but it could have. My point is this: who is the number 2 target on the Patriots? Is it Hunter Henry? Is it Booty? Is it Pop? Like, I don't know the answer to that. You don't know the answer to that. Mike Vrabel doesn't know the answer to that. So that's my point with Diggs, right? It's going to be inconsistent. We just said 5 minutes ago that the wide receiver position is the most volatile scoring, most inconsistent position in the game, right? And I'm going against my own historical model in referencing this because I don't trade for older players. I don't.
Yeah, neither of us do. We are the DiCaprios, the Dynasty world, man. We're
100%. I love that. That's a great for well done. Touche. I think at some point next year, I do need to get the soundboard so I can get some real sound effects in here. But we'll get there. Production value be damned. But I don't trade for older players for 2 reasons. Number 1, they have no resale value. Number 2, you just have to sit there and hope that you're getting what you think you're getting, because if you miss, you've burned the pick. Okay. But this is my last piece on Diggs, and it's not a fantasy piece. It's a real world thing, which I think is going to equate to fantasy goodness. Hear me out. Patriots have a real chance at a playoff spot. They beat the Bills already in Buffalo. They beat the Bills on Glacier Jersey night. Okay. So which means they get to play them in Foxborough again, which means they realistically could split the season with Buffalo. And when push comes to shove and it's playoff time for fantasy, weeks 15, 16, and 17, which is the real NFL's playoff push for the Patriots to actually get a wild card or win the division. Who's Drake May throwing the ball to when the game is on the line? Because it ain't Pop Douglas.
Ooh. I know the week 17 is the Jets. I know that. I've got so much Garrett Wilson. I've got to know that.
Buffalo is week 15 at home. Buffalo's a good team, but their defense is in shambles, as we have all seen over the last couple of weeks.
Yeah,
even when they win games, even when Buffalo wins games, they give up points. And in fantasy, I don't need the Patriots to win the football game.
Yeah, shoot, Miami put some points on them. Yeah.
I don't need the Patriots to win the game. I need the Patriots players to score points. So they get Buffalo, Baltimore.
Baltimore looked bad to start the year in terms of an X, but that's a target now.
And the Jets. And that is when I want Stephon Diggs. So if I can make it through this season if you can go and trade, and I'll tell you exactly what I traded. I traded a 3rd round pick, which was not my own pick, which right now is which right now is projected in the is projected in the early 3rd. I traded an early 3rd for Stephon Diggs in a start 3 wide receiver league with a double flex. So I think you can go get Steph Diggs for a 3rd round pick. I think this week is the perfect week to go get him because he had a dud against New Orleans, and I'm pretty darn sure they have the bye coming up, which means he's going to have another kind of fade from your memory week. And I think you can go get a player who is going to ultimately be the number 1 target earner for this team, the red zone threat, and that could be a player that pushes you over the top. I just want to mention this really, really briefly because we got some questions I want to get into. It's hard for me and Kendall to give you some tight end buys, some tight end trades because it's just such a thin position. So I just, if you can try to make an offer for Dallas Goedert, I think you should. It's the same argument I just made for Steph Diggs. He's old. This is his best historical touchdown season already, and we're only 6 games in. It's not sexy, but right now you have to play Dynasty in the current season that you're in, even though Kendall and I will shout from the mountaintop, you play in a 2 to 3 year window. I'd rather have 1 ring now than a Dynasty tight end that may or may not help me win a championship over the next 2 to 3 years. And the way Goddard is playing, the way that A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith are not getting the ball and are not getting touchdowns, I'd go buy Goddard for a 3rd and just put him in the lineup and just say, you know what? For this season, I'm probably getting a top 5 tight end rest of season. That's his upside right now because Brock Bowers is not coming back. Kyler Murray's got a mid-foot sprain, so they say he's going to be back, but he may not. So sure, Trey McBride's awesome, but you can't get Trey McBride. Would you rather have for the rest of this season, this is the last thing I'll say, Kendall, and then we'll get into some of these questions. Would you rather have for just this season Sam Laporta or Dallas Goedert?
Ooh.
Right? The fact that you even have to think about it is half the answer to the question.
I'm taking Laporta, but I had to think about it a little bit. Yeah, because you look at him in a similar tier. Yeah, Goddard's underrated because he's actually an elite run blocker. Anytime Saquon's trying to get involved, Goddard's on the field, and anytime they have to check out of a run. This is actually it's real. Like if we never get super advanced analytics. This is the one analytic stat I've got. It's not really a stat, but it's the reason Goddard has all of these. Like, why are they passing to him when they check out of a run? Goddard's route is one of the first reads for the quarterback because the route tree is kind of screwed up. The players aren't where he wants them to be. He's planning on giving the ball to Saquon. If that has to change, it often goes to Goddard. And so that's where a lot of his free touches are. He's tied to Saquon's production kind of back and forth, and he earns those touches because of how many hard hits he takes. He's just not the Kittle guy that gets known for it. So I think even PFF was grading him insanely highly in the offseason as a run blocker, and just gets him on the field every play.
I mean, for the rest of this season, let me give you some names that you can't trade for in Dynasty. Brock Bowers, Trey McBride. I would put Sam Laporta on that list because I don't think people long-term want to give him up, even though he's not having a great season. He didn't have a great season last year, but people still don't want to give him up because of the youth and the Lions. So there's 3 tight ends. You're not going to be able to trade for George Kittle. I think it's very difficult to trade for Furr because he's the tight end 1 right now. I was only a year late. You know, my love for Jake Ferguson. I was a year late on that.
You're buying too high. It's going to cost too much.
And so then who's left? Tucker Kraft. I mean, like you probably can't trade for him either. That's it. And those are the top 5 guys in the league. So like you can't go get a tight end that is going to be a difference maker unless you truly believe, and I did this in a league last week, unless you truly believe that Isaiah Likely is the future of the Ravens. And I do believe that is going to happen.
That route participation was insane.
And I traded for him early. And I traded Dowdle. I think I traded Dowdle. I have to go back and look at that trade, but that was a part of my trade. Was Dowdle's hot? He's the hot name. I've been trying to get Likely. Kendall, it was in one of the leagues with you. I don't know. I have to go back and look. I don't remember what it was, but actually give me 10 seconds. I can pull it.
I feel like every league with Likely with us is difficult because we talk about him so damn much.
I traded Rico Dowdle in a 3rd, and I got Isaiah Likely. In a dynasty league, I feel like I won that trade
Yeah, no, I still
because
like
likely
that.
is the future.
I
Of
mean,
the
it's a
Ravens tight end.
projection, right?
Projection,
I mean, we're
but you have to call your
projecting
shot.
it, but
But if likely does what he's supposed to do and becomes the replacement for Andrews in that offense, it's better to trade a year early and have that just sitting on your
he's
bench
not just
because
the
you
Andrews
won't.
replacement though, too. I mean, for the same reason, I didn't get to it in the take, but the idea is I see the future of that team as a 2-target funnel, which a lot of the NFL teams have become. There's a wide receiver one and a tight end one, and they're the A, B, whatever you want to flip and pass catchers.
100%.
I think likely is their wide receiver 1A, 1B with Flowers 1A, 1B. I think they're going to flip flop as the two main pass catchers. And that's a sick role you want them for. I like that a lot.
Yeah. Yep. So go trade for Dallas Goedert if you're a win now team. It's not going to cost you much. It ain't sexy, but you just need him for the rest of this year, and I think you're going to be happy with it. Yep. Kendall, give me 2 minutes on the clock. Let's do the 2-minute drill, and then we will knock out some questions. I am ready when you are ready.
We really got to actually get like a
clock on this thing,
like a widget for this.
Like a real clock. Yeah.
Anyone that knows how to do production value, eventually hit us up at 3, 2, 1. The clock has started.
All right, guys, let me give you 3 trade targets we didn't have enough time to talk about tonight, but I do think can be league winners for you. Number 1, it is Davante Adams. Puka Nacua is banged up. I think he's going to be fine, and I think he's going to play. But even with Puka in the lineup, Adams is averaging 9 targets per game. He's only had 2 games under double-digit fantasy points. He is currently the wide receiver 13 on the season. And if Puka misses any time, he is a surefire wide receiver 1. Put that kind of production into your wide receiver 2 spot and go win yourself a championship. I just traded for him in a league last week. It cost me a late second-round pick. I had 2 other seconds. I am totally okay giving that pick up to put Davante Adams in my lineup. The next player I want you all to trade for, it has been awful. It has been awful, like unwatchable awful. It is Derrick Henry. There's been no Lamar. Henry has fumbled his way out of RB1 territory and is flirting now with mid-range RB2 numbers. I think that is a good thing because that means this is probably because of his age and his issues this season, the cheapest you are ever going to get him. Lamar will come back after the bye, and if it's a lost season for Lamar, that's fine. They're still going to feature Henry. He can and he will score touchdowns, so better days are ahead for the King. The last one is the most difficult, but it is very, very obvious, pretty low-hanging fruit to understand his value, and that is, of course, Mr. David Montgomery hanging on Kendall's wall. He is the best quote-unquote handcuff in all of football. He's 28 years old, which is why I think you can still get a trade done for him because guys do want to get younger. His value is still there, even with Gibbs in the lineup, and we know what would happen if he had the backfield to himself. Laporta and JMO have been boom-bust players. The consistency has not been there for those two, but it has been there for Monty, Gibbs, and now is the time to go get him. He has a difficult matchup this week against Tampa Bay, then a bye week. So I think there's a 2-week window for Monty before the second half of the season, and if he puts up another quote-unquote dud versus Tampa Bay, you can get him for a second-round pick.
Made it.
206, not bad. All right, scroll to the top. Jacob Osborne.
Let's do it.
Amon-Ra for Tet and a mid-first was offered to me. I'm a contender, and I would receive Amon-Ra. Full PPR dynasty. What do y'all think I should do? Kendall, I'll let you answer. This is an easy answer for me.
So for me, the easy answer in the dynasty window is Tet in the first. For sure. I want the Tet in the pick side. I think Tet is passing the eye test. I'm in. But the only thing that's making me hesitant is because I think Amon-Ra, like, there's just so many targets, so many good players. He's going to lose a step next year, in my opinion. Not because he'll lose a step, the team will. I mean, points per game wise, I think Amon-Ra is going to be there the rest of the year. It's too pricey for me to really consider. But I was given a consideration for, like, if you need to win this year, nothing else matters. It's close, but Tet the first for me. As much as I hate that Tet's with Bryce Young. I really, really.
Jacob's not going to like me. I'm taking Amon-Ra.
Taking Amon-Ra every time?
Yeah. For a simple reason. You just said it. It's Bryce. I know who the quarterback's going to be in both teams for the next 2 to 3 years. And I would rather have Jared Goff throwing to Amon-Ra than I would rather have Bryce Young throwing to Tet. I would. Amon-Ra is the alpha. He is the established number one wide receiver there. I believe in Tet. I have Tet. I love Tet. I think he's going to be a great player.
Mhm.
I do not know for sure that he is guaranteed to be the alpha going forward. We think that he is. And he's a much better player than Xavier Legette. So don't hear me and say, oh, Phil, Xavier Legette's dog shit. But we thought Xavier Legette was going to be super fantasy relevant last year because there was no one else in the building. Xavier Legette is an afterthought this season. So I'm not saying Xavier Legette is in the category of Ted McMillan. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying we all have sat here with multiple teams, with multiple players because of a situation and said, that's it. That's the guy. Got to have him. And then within a year, you're going, whoops. Next man up. I think Ted's going to be there, and I think he's going to be fantastic. But is he guaranteed to be the alpha going forward? I think so. I don't know so. I know Amon-Ra is. That's why I'm on the Amon-Ra side.
Yeah, this one's close for me. I'll give a caveat here, Jacob, just for a quick piece of bonus content. I'm not allowed to give you massages or counters here on like what I would do, right? So I have to take it at face value. If I'm in a league where like, okay, you're contending, right? So that first is late. Okay. It's still there. If you have enough other picks, like I traded my late first in a league, but this is a league where I have 2 seconds, 3/3, and 2/4. Okay. I have
Say that one more time. I need to get that in my head.
First, I had my first. I was okay trading it. And just say it's an overpay. I'm using my first to overpay by like 20%, maybe 15. Okay. But I'm doing it because I have 2 seconds, 3/3, 2/4. I have a lot of picks. I have a lot of dart throws. When you have not just 1, 2, 3 picks, I have 2 seconds, I have 5 picks through the third round, and then 2/4 on top of it that I can just sell for future thirds if I want to, right? You know, for whoever wants a guy there, right? I have enough that one, I've got roster space issues where I have enough players that are coming onto my team. Two, I have enough players that I can take swings where I want them, right? If I want to just take a bunch, like this past draft, I took a bunch of running back swings portfolio wise because I knew enough were going to hit. It was going to be profitable. That's a situation where this is a slam dunk trade because if the idea is I don't have to do any selling, I need to get rid of a pick anyways because I sold other assets. I'm playing Dynasty appropriately. If I have accrued enough value that I can not burn a first, but the PPG is just worth it because the first isn't as valuable, late in 2026 is not where I want to be. Already right now, late 2026 first will be the quickest. Like, damn, I should have sold it when it was just a first, not a late 2026 first. When you look at the board, I'm calling it right now. You don't want to be at the tail end of that draft because it will be the same tier as the early seconds, right? Like, that's where it's close for me.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to do a show in a couple of weeks all about draft picks and values because I've been studying this and I've got some interesting data to share with y'all. But I don't know. I don't want to ruin the show, obviously, but I'm struggling right now with anything outside of the first 8 picks. That's my teaser. Yeah. That's my teaser. If you don't get a pick in the first 8 picks, I drafted Devon Achane was it 2 years ago? Yeah, 2 years ago in the middle of the second round. Good for me. Some guys I drafted Cam Scatterbo at the end of the second round this year. As of right now, good for me. But like, you know how many other players I've taken in the mid to late second round because I had, just like you were saying, I've got 3 or 4 second rounders. Do you know how many? Do you want Trey Harris on your team right now?
No, God, no.
Would you rather have Trey Harris or Luther Burden?
I'd rather my pick back, but
that's my point.
Right, I'll take Luther Burden.
But those both were solid middle of the second round guaranteed picks this last rookie draft. 100%. They did not go in the first round. They did not go in the third. They went in the second round. I don't know that either one of them. It's early. It's still early, but like, you don't know. You don't know yet. You just don't know. So
where I'd throw that, I wouldn't throw. I won't throw too many caveats. The idea is you have to look at all the picks total, though. If the idea is you had a couple of seconds but no thirds, I would say it's a very different situation, though, right? Because what I mean by that is I have the seconds and the thirds, like at least 4 to 5 total, 3 in one, 2 in the other, right? You have the ability to say, okay, I can corner the market at tight end, right? Let's say I can take all the third round tight ends. So you can just swing for blind upside in the second. You need both components, though. I think to your point, second round wide receivers, if I just have 3 seconds, I know I can miss in all 3 of them if it's wide receiver because that happens all the time, right?
Sure.
I have to have a full dartboard of like, I need like 7 total picks to be like, all right, I know I'm hitting on this board, and all my picks together are going to be worth more than I paid for them because of the hit. But I need more than just 2 or 3 seconds.
Yeah, but my point is, at the end of the day, is like if you go back and look historically at the last, let's just go 5 years of rookie drafts. There's 2 to 3 players in the second round that have truly hit for your roster. 2 to 3. Right? You've heard me tell this story, Kendall. I drafted Devon Achane 2 seasons ago in a rookie draft. And I had buyer's remorse instantly because the next pick afterwards was Jonathan Mingo. And I almost traded. It was one of my good buddies, and I called him up on the phone. I said, bro, let's do an Achane Mingo swap. And he's like, I don't know. I'm pretty in on Mingo. I couldn't believe you passed on him. And I was like, yeah, I just I was like, I needed Achane because I needed a running back, and like I don't believe in Mostert, blah. And then Mostert, what does Mostert do? 300 touchdowns and breaks the franchise record. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm screwed. And
do you remember Achane's draft capital was like, man, thank God he got to a good draft spot because we were not in on him.
No one would have taken it. That's why I took it. If he hadn't gone to Miami, I wouldn't have taken him.
We were all looking at Kincaid like that's
I don't
the
even
spot,
think Jonathan Mingo's in the league.
Like
I'm sure he is.
Isn't he in Dallas on IR?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like I'm sure he is, but that's my point. Like he's not. Anyway,
lost his job to Flourney or whatever.
So you just don't know. Yeah, Flourney. Yeah.
Galaxy Jacob, great question though, man. That one screwed my brain earlier. Just by the way, that was
Jacob. Solid question to start us off. Ask yourself this: is your team? You says is a win now team contender? He says, are you still contending with Tet in the first? Maybe you're contending with Amon-Ra.
Yeah.
Galaxy Pickers was offered Baker for Pollard. Smash that accept button. Oof. Ouch. Roster is now Baker, Nix, JT, Judkins, Bill, Kendry, CD, Rome, London, Addison. God, are we getting a question here? Oh, there it is. Okay, I was like, well, I mean, this is a great team. Like, Galaxy Pickers, good for you, man. You got a badass team. Yeah. I'm now 4-1 in I'm assuming he means 12-team league. And I've never heard of a 13-team league, so we're going to say that's a typo. His question is, do I flip Nix into a running back? So he now has Baker. I'm going to assume, Kendall, that this is a 1-quarterback league. Yeah. He's asking, does he flip Nix into a running back?
Definitely yes. Just don't get greedy. You're not getting much for him. Nix is way fallen from grace.
I would say this. I would down tier because you're going to need a second quarterback. Even in a 1-quarterback league, you got to have 2. I would down tier Nix and get the running back. But the problem is I don't know what you're going to get. Like,
oh, wait. This is a dynasty. I'm thinking redraft.
Yeah, it's a dynasty trade.
I was thinking redraft the whole way. Galaxy, this is dynasty, right?
Let's just make it's a dynasty show. Let's make
Baker for Pollard though. I was like, Baker for Pollard's a redraft trade.
I wouldn't make that trade. Not right now. Baker's the MVP. Baker's the best player in the league.
That can't be a real dynasty trade. Baker for Pollard.
It shouldn't be a redraft trade either. But either way you look at it, it shouldn't be a real question for whoever the person offered this. He said he was offered Baker for Pollard.
Yeah,
whoever offered this needs a whoever offered this needs a system reset.
Yeah, well, if it's fully if it's a 1-quarterback dynasty, I'm actually saying no, man. I'm saying no because there's no running back I think you can go get for Knicks that makes sense. I'm saying yes if you can find a good one, but quarterback for running back mid-season is very difficult because you need to specifically find someone who doesn't need the running back.
I have some names.
Hit me.
Would you rather have Bo Nix or Jordan Mason plus Matthew Stafford? Because Aaron Jones will come back. And he's going to come back supposedly in week 8. And it's already been 3 weeks that he's been out, and they're on a bye, the Vikings. They just had the bye, excuse me. So he's been out.
Dynasty 1-quarterback pricing is so difficult for me on quarterbacks.
I know, it's hard.
I tend to bury quarterbacks in 1-quarterback. I value them next to nothing because I'll just find, as long as there's enough flex spots where it kind of buries it a little bit. Man, what running back? Can you go get Javonte Plus?
No.
Yeah.
Would you take James Conner? Because I wouldn't, but I'm just thinking of guys that like could have some value coming back. Chuba.
Because it's still dynasty. So we're talking about flipping a guy that will play the next 12 years for a guy that will probably play the next 2 to 3 on average at best. So like I'm such a long-term value guy that for me, I I only say no to this because I know in all the leagues I would offer this, no one would give me what I think is fair because they'd all be playing in a 1 to 2 year window. And this is difficult to do. I think for my only answer is you're going to have to find and go to trade partners you know and trust that you can have a good deal that makes long-term sense where they long-term love Knicks and you short-term love the running back. It's more about the trade partner than the player, though. It's more about their roster.
Jalen Warren and CJ Stroud or Knicks.
Oh, the Stroud side for sure. But I'm low on Knicks. I'm just not high on Knicks to begin with. I thought you weren't even going to offer me a quarterback.
Well, I don't think it makes sense to just flip Knicks for a running back because you just said it. There isn't someone that's a comparable. And what are you doing without a second quarterback? Because you ain't finding a guy on the waiver wire in Dynasty. In a one quarterback redraft league, sure. I got Jordan Love off the waiver wire a couple weeks ago. Caleb Williams. Like when I had Jaden in my one redraft league. When Jaden went down, I started Caleb Williams the week he had his career day, and then the next week I started Jordan Love. Great against Dallas in the 40 in the 40-40 game.
Who would you rather have, him or RJ Harvey?
I'd rather have Knicks.
Okay, I thought the owner would probably prefer Harvey long term. That's where I think I get into. Our Harvey doesn't help you this year. Like my best buys at running back are they're not producing, but they should be good later. But
here's my reasoning. JT and Judkins are your starters.
Yeah.
If Baker goes,
and he's got Bill as a third RB.
Right. So this is my point. RJ Harvey does not crack your starting lineup. He probably doesn't crack your flex. So you're only unless he breaks out next year, and that could happen. Sure, of course it could, but right now we don't know. And Dobbins is still under contract.
Yeah.
But if Baker goes down,
I just say no because he's got a third running back. Like I don't think he even needs the running back. Like I wouldn't invest in a fourth running back in Dynasty if I didn't have to, because I feel like it's a depreciating asset I don't need, I guess.
Yeah. I don't know. I would put one of Goddard and Hunter Henry with Knicks and try to go do something there. Because they're both going to be out of the league in the next 2 to 3 years. You know what I mean? Like they're both so old. I would try, and they're both having good seasons. That's what I would actually combine and try to go find someone else. But I don't know. We could be on this all night. So yeah. Nino Pena, what's up, fellas? Might need more of Phil's opinion on this one. And he says below, Bears question. Number one priority on Burden. I had him locked in over Tez, but saw the DJ Moore day-to-day news and now contemplating the two. My assumption then is this is a redraft question. It's hard for me to answer without knowing who else is on the waiver wire, but I will say this. The news that I've seen is that DJ Moore was out of the hospital. They think it's a groin injury. He's already flown back to Chicago, and he should be back with the team this week. I have a hard time. Here's my caveat with the Bucks. I have a hard time predicting who it's going to be, Tez or Shepard, but it's going to be one of them this week. I haven't heard any positive. Now, we need to check the reports. I know you got to put waivers in tonight because it's Tuesday night. Kendall, you and I, as soon as we finish the show, we got to go put waivers in for our 1 or 2. Well, you're in like 5,000. I'm in 2 redraft leagues. But,
I did them earlier, but yeah. I had to.
But my point is this. We haven't heard any news that Mike Evans is going to be back. We know Agbuka's out. We know Godwin is out. We know Bucky is going to be out. So someone has to catch the ball. And it's probably going to be Cade Otton and Rachaad White. But one of those receivers is going to have a day. If DJ Moore plays, he still gets more targets, even banged up, than Luther Burden does. And Rome definitely gets the targets. So I would do this. I would grab Burden to stash him and see what the news is going to be like the rest of the week because it's early. But if there's a chance that one of the Bucks is going to be, if there's a chance that Mike Evans plays, that changes things, but I don't think he does this week, which means I would play both of the Bucks receivers over Burden, personally. That's what I would do. But yes, the answer to your question, is go get Burden to have him and then do what we all do. Pay attention to the news this week and get on Twitter and get on the, Sleeper and all these other sites and figure out who's going to be in there.
I'm Tez for sure, by the way. I'm
Tez as well.
100,000% Tez there.
If in a couple of my leagues, you'll know this, but I've put old Mr. young, not old, young Mr. Johnson on the trade block. See if I can get anyone to bite. So
there we go. Okay.
You never know. The Smitty has roasted you for that Stroud Lamar trade.
As I should, man. It's just so sick that it made such perfect sense. You had Flowers. I had Tank Dell. Remember him? Remember Tank Dell, guys?
I do remember
It was
Tank
crazy.
Dell.
I had Nico Collins at 1.2, flipped for Bijan. That actually, I think that trade ended up being
I don't
as
think you
fair
can
as a
be.
deal
I
as
don't
I've ever
think you
did.
can be mad about that. I would have Bijan.
But it was Nico and Kyron for Bijan. And at the end of the day, I actually think like that trade
Yeah, that's
still
pretty
stands as like that's a good trade any day of the week. It's great for both of us.
Yeah, that's a good trade. That's
and
fair.
it won the guy the league that year, so I felt pretty good that I helped him win the league.
Hey, Stefan Diggs for Cedric Tillman in a third. Somebody must have been listening to the
There
show.
we go. There we go.
I don't think, Kendall, we've ever been asked a defense question. The Smitty wants to know Patriots or Chiefs defense this week. I know the Chiefs.
No, Chiefs have Vegas.
Yeah, I know the Chiefs have the Raiders, but I was
I'm-
looking to see who the Patriots have.
Who do the Patriots have?
The
I have so much
Patriots
Drake
have-
May. I should know
the
this.
Patriots have Tennessee.
Yeah, 10. Okay, well, wait a minute. Tennessee with the new head. It's got to be Tennessee, right? There's just new head. I know there's like the new head coach. The team will rally, but
Yeah, but this team doesn't have enough players to rally. You still have to
that
have some
team
players.
has a 7-point ceiling, though. Like the Chiefs' defense is as much as I hate Vegas, they'll probably score at least 10 points.
I'm gonna take the Chiefs defense because they're at home. I hear you. The Patriots are on the road at Tennessee. I hear you, but here's the caveat. It's an emotional Vrabel game. I know Vrabel wants to win this game. I think they should win this game, but does Tennessee just get up for one game and say, this is our Super Bowl, and we're just going to stick it to Vrabel one time and win one game this season? I know they won one game already,
don't have
but
it. No, I'm there. I just decided that as much as I want to bury Vegas, I just decided in my head, I think everyone is going crazy that Vegas is god awful. And I'm not going to like almost upset, but I'm going to say that the Chiefs Vegas game is closer than we think. And God help them if they can't tackle a running back.
so you're taking the Patriots.
Yeah, I'm taking the Pats team.
Okay. All right. One more from the Smitty. Start two running backs, Monty, White, or Hall.
Rashad White or Brees Hall.
Who do the Jets have?
I don't even think it matters, man. I think until I see better from the Jets, I'm just not playing a Jet player after that.
They have Carolina.
They do have Carolina. I looked too. I'm going Rashad White. Rashad White has a much better offense and probably a better overall like dominator score on the offense.
Agreed, but can I interest you in Brees Hall's receiving stat line this week with no Garrett Wilson? That's my only caveat to this question.
Yeah, I mean, believe me, I have so much Garrett Wilson, and we're gonna get to Brees here.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's close. I just have a feeling that I'm going with Baker Mayfield here. I'm saying I want the Baker Mayfield offense because there is no way that White doesn't have a good game. There's 17 ways that Brees Hall has a disappointing game. He can also have a big blow up 10 catch CMC style game, but there is just no version of White that doesn't have White. Anytime touchdown is probably going to be a bet I'll make. He can win in so many different ways. The floor ceiling outcome for White is just better than the floor ceiling for Hall, in my opinion.
Same game, Monty. It's the Monday Night Football game. It's in Detroit. They're coming off of a bad loss. I would also take Monty and White, but I do have that. I am looking, and the lines weren't out today when I went to go put some bets in, but I'm very interested to see what the line opens at for Brees Hall's receiving line this weekend, because that is a prop bet that I am almost assuredly, assuming it's a reasonable number, but I'm almost assuredly going to take that with no Garrett Wilson. So
yeah, I like that. I'm also, again, we'll talk about it later, but I'm kind of in on Brees Hall's usage all of a sudden plummeting to he's definitely going to be traded levels.
The Smitty, last question for him, I promise. Start two wide receivers, Nico, DK, Rice. I know one of them's locked into my lineup, but who's the other one, Kendall?
Wow, this is crazy, but I'm going Nico and Rice. I think DK is a little too volatile for me. He's doing a lot on 4 catches a game, and he's touchdown or bust, which I think the other two are way different categories of right now.
I am taking DK and I am taking Rice.
Wow. Oh man. I've never been higher on any. I am I hate Nico. Everyone knows I hate Nico. This has never happened before. This is. I don't even know how to feel about this, man. This is interesting.
It's DK is gonna. He's the only guy there. It's guaranteed. I know it's touchdowns, but like
Jalen Warren.
He seems to be scoring them every week. And at the end of the day, it's a bad offensive line for the Texans. They're on the road in Seattle, and Mahomes is playing out of his mind again. I'm putting DK and Rice in there. So that's what I'm doing. I mean, if you want to play Deco, that's great, but
Rice is chalk, yeah.
I don't
know.
I'm struggling
something
with
about
the Texans, man.
Something to me, I guess it's Aaron Rodgers will look like he did last year at some point take. And also, I think sneakily that team is like for some reason, I keep looking at the Steelers and being like, really, you guys just have a bunch of running backs and you try to pass the ball, but you're really bad at it. And occasionally it kind of works.
Mm-hmm.
But I look at DK's plays and I'm like, outside of like the big catch, it's very ugly in the interim. It's like Garrett Wilson, but worse. And I need the targets. Like Nico could catch 5 passes on 14 targets, though. DK has to catch 5 passes.
Yeah, but look,
targets.
Here's Nico's targets: 5, 9, 11, 6, 5. Okay, 5, 9, 11, 6, 5.
6 and 5 in the last 2 games.
Yep. Here's DK's.
Whoa.
7, 6, 4, 5, 9. It's almost identical. But here's the thing that Nico has not done that DK has.
That's blowing my mind a little bit.
DK Metcalf, 4 for 7 for 83 yards in week 1. I'm not going to read you the rest, but I am going to read you this stat. Week 2, touchdown. 3, touchdown. 4, touchdown. 5, bye. 6, touchdown. Nico's
not been getting the targets.
Nico's got 3 touchdowns. And they played Baltimore and scored 40 freaking points.
Dude, Nico does not have.
So I give him an asterisk on that touchdown against Baltimore. Yes, he scored it, but like, dude, at Seattle, I've been to Seattle. I went there on opening week. You know that. That is a loud fucking stadium. And the Texans' offensive line is poo-poo. Let's move on. This one's interesting. I'm going to make this one quick for me. I don't think we're probably going to agree on this one pretty quick. Nino Pena, who should I drop? Tyler Algier or Michael Carter? That's an easy drop for Michael Carter.
Carter for me. Yeah. Algier's insanely good.
Algier's good with Bijan, and if Bijan isn't there, Algier has that backfield to himself. Michael Carter.
Bijan with 400 yards, and Algier's still startable.
And he still scored. Scored a great 19-yard touchdown to open the game. It was a great run. You guys want to make a live deal? T-Hum looking for a running back in the Football Network League. Okay,
yeah, I looked at that.
If you're around,
I almost got in there, and I'm like, dude, I got nothing to trade. All my pieces aren't tradable.
I do. I'm rebuilding. Well, not rebuilding, but I'm soft rebuilding already. So T-Hum, throw something in the chat for me, brother. Let's see if we can make a deal. Michael Clark, if I'm starting my rebuild right now, should I hold on to Scat and JCM or trade them for picks? Woof. Scatterboo's a hold.
Yeah.
Scatterboo ain't going anywhere. And I'm telling you right now, I don't want to get into the whole does he go into the tent again? What should happen, Brian Daboll conversation. But I will say this. Cam Scatterboo and Jackson Dart are the only reason Brian Daboll might save his job.
Yeah.
You think Brian Daboll is going to put Tyrone Tracy on the field right now? You are crazy. Other than a change of pace when Scatterboo, and I don't know if Scatterboo gets tired. The guy's the fucking juggernaut from X-Men.
Yeah, there is no change of pace.
There is no change of pace. He has one pace. Go. That is his pace. Go north.
Look, for that reason, I'm telling you, though, I'm throwing it right now. The hype on Scatterboo is so insane because of the media. I'm not saying he's a sell. I'm saying he's a first person to offer me 2 mid-first and a second wins. Like, I'll throw out the stupid trade. Like
say that again. First one to give me the what?
First one to give me 2 firsts and a second. He's yours.
2 firsts and a second. Yeah, look, if you're going to get a Jamar Chase, level value, Christian McCaffrey. Well, it's
because look, I think you're getting 2 firsts for Scatterboo because people were doing to do it for Hendy, and now that Hendy's like, we'll see. I think if you throw out, you give me 2 firsts right now, I hit the button immediately. In a 12-team league, someone's going to do it in Dynasty for Scatterboo. I think you can actually go for the 2 firsts and a third. And then you maybe close in the 2 firsts. I actually think you can fully get 2 firsts from right now, and I think that's the line where I might actually just keep him at that rate straight up if he's going to a contender. I think you might need more. I'm that in on Scatterboo, but I will say I'm in on the sell. If you can find a deal that makes sense,
if you can get a big deal, sure. But everybody has.
He
their
can't
price
survive
point.
a major injury. I mean, how much value does he lose if he has a major injury at the
That's
end
it.
of the year?
That's it.
I think he's done permanently because with his style of play, he can't lose another step. So
no,
if I can chalk out on him, I will.
I would say this though, Michael Clark. I'm holding on Scatterboo unless, like Kendall said, there's a monster offer. I would shop Bill. I haven't seen. I know it's only been 6 games, but I've not seen enough that says next year guaranteed he is the guy. Right? We just talked about it. We just talked about it on this show. Right? Chuba has the contract. What if Rico Dowdle winds up in Washington next season? That's a real. The kid's on a 1-year, $2.75 million contract.
There's some talented guys that have to go somewhere.
That's nothing money. What if Breece Hall winds up in Washington? Because Breece could go anywhere. I heard today, I was listening to the Fantasy Footballers podcast today, and I need to vet this, but I heard on their show today that the value right now for Breece Hall is a 5th-round pick. Kick rocks. If I'm a GM and I can get Breece Hall for a 5th, I'll give you the 4th just to make it better. It can't be. That can't be right.
That can't be right.
If Breece Hall gets sold for a 5th-round pick, every single person in the Jets organization deserves to lose their job.
That doesn't make any sense at all.
It cannot be right. That's why I said I have to vet that comment. It cannot be the actual value.
Like, what's Kenneth Walker worth?
By that valuation, 16 first-round. Like, are you kidding me? A 5th for Breece?
Talent for talent, I still don't see them as significantly different since they were drafted.
I'd rather have Breece than Kenneth Walker, but
that feels like some Jets steam. That feels like that's just not.
It's like steam, bro. That's 3P1C fail. Did I get that right? I got that right. Am I missing the joke? Is there something there?
No, I think me and Classic have had this wonderful person before. I didn't. It's one of those things. If someone else is watching it, they're just hanging out with us being on stream. We never get the inside joke. So
no, I don't know if I missed the joke. Goddard or Kraft in PPR rest of season.
Kraft easy. Yeah,
Kraft. And Broshov. If we're sneaking, sorry, I thought you said if we're sneaking. If we're speaking some past trades, last year got Gibbs for Dowdle, Pollard, and what ended up being the 2025 109 and a 26 second. If we're thinking Dowdle is on the uptick, do you guys think I won the trade? I don't care what the rest of the crap is. You got Gibbs. You got the overall RB1 last year, who's going to be a top 5 RB again this year, and probably will be, assuming health, for the rest of his young days.
Injured because he doesn't have some stupid snap share. He'll be good forever. Yeah,
that's what I mean. As long as he's under the age of 30, you have won in perpetuity. So
you won a lot. Oh my god,
you won a lot. Yeah, it's almost like trading CJ Stroud for Lamar Jackson.
Almost, man. Give me time on that CJ Stroud. How many years am I gonna need for that to level out? Oh my god.
Well,
it might never happen.
To be fair, the way Lamar Jackson's going this season, it may not be as bad of a trade as lopsided as you think it is. So
yeah, I need all of this season. And
Rafi getting involved. T-Hum, I'll trade Bill for Chuba.
Rafi told us how to put a timer on stream too. He got in my DMs.
Yeah, good. Rafi, DM us because we got to put the 2-minute drill up there. So we are 33 minutes over the show time, but that's because we did all the questions. We ended the show exactly 60 minutes, and I am pretty darn proud of us.
We get $1 tip for every minute we go past.
That'd be great.
Do that.
That'd be great. For all of us here at the Get Right Fantasy Network, we appreciate you being around for Tuesday night show with the Extra Point. Kendall, as always, thanks for being here, brother. I will see you next week. If you've got questions for us, hit us up on our Discord, pop into our DMs on Sleeper, go back and watch the show, throw it in the comments. We will answer those questions there as well. But have a great rest of the week. For your redraft leagues, make sure you get your waivers in tonight. And for everyone else, enjoy. What do we have on Thursday night this week? Oh, God, the Bengals and the Steelers. Ugh. I would say enjoy Thursday Night Football, but maybe just have it on in the
Make
background.
a good dinner though. Make sure
make
you
a
have
good
something else to
dinner.
talk about.
Hang. My daughter and I are playing Uno a lot right now, where she's really into Uno. So play some card games with your kids and have the football game on in the background, but don't sit there and watch it. It's going to be one of those AFC North 17-13 sort of games.
Yeah, no sound, just the picture.
No sound.
Yeah.
Just peek over to see if Jamar Chase does anything. Peek over to see DK outscore Nico this week. But otherwise, you can put that on mute and play a little Monopoly with the family. So,
I just played Monopoly with my 4-year-old for the first time. We almost made it past setting up the board. We got so close.
Yeah, that's exactly how I envision the Monopoly game going. Is my daughter probably taking the car and just driving it around the board until she collects all the $200 pass.
I have Bears Monopoly, just be thematic, because like everything in the house is Bears, so we're getting there.
I collect Monopoly sets. It's one of my weird collections, so I've got about 11 of them, 12 of them in the closet over here.
Find a weird Monopoly to buy you for like Christmas, man. This is gonna be a fun thing.
The weirder the better. The weirdest one I have is like a Japanese that I don't even understand what it is, but it's Monopoly, so you can figure it out. But yeah, I've got some funky ones in there.
Chet, can we send Phil just the craziest Monopoly?
The crazier the better.
Find, man. But I'm in for that. We'll do a Monopoly stream where Phil just unboxes Monopoly.
Oh, that'd be fun. That'd be fun. So, all right, we appreciate y'all being here for everybody here at the Get Right Fantasy Network, and of course myself and Kendall from the Extra Point. Have a great night. We out.
Marking nothing but I tune every Friday. Strategies provided.